WNCE.com today.
Hello and welcome to the program, UFO Warning. In this episode, we're talking about Congress versus the deep state. That's correct, Congress versus the deep state. Of course, we're talking about those UFO hearings happening today, November 13th. Not sure if a lot will happen, but maybe if they keep knocking on the door, somebody will open, or perhaps maybe Elon Musk and company will just break the door down, given what we're hearing today about Trump's new initiative on government efficiency. This first article is from space.com. It says U.S. Congress will hold another UFO hearing today. Here's how to watch. Americans, this is written by Brett Tinsley, dated, it says updated 3 hours ago. So this came out today. Americans deserve to understand what the government has learned about UAP sightings and the nature of any potential threats these phenomena pose. It goes on down here. It says, the U.S. government is holding another hearing on UFOs today, and you can watch it live. The U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Oversight and Accountability will administer the hearing titled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, Exposing the Truth. The name of the event refers to UFOs by their new preferred acronym, which is more inclusive of sightings that might take place not only in the air, but also in space, as well as those that take place across multiple domains. The hearing will be held at the Rayburn House office building in Washington, D.C. at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, November 13th. You can watch it live here on space.com. It says, courtesy of the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to get some accountability for it? Pull back the curtain on secret UAP research programs conducted by the U.S. government and undisclosed findings they have yielded, according to a House statement. The hearing will examine the U.S. Department of Defense's strict classification policies when it comes to UAP and related topics, and will explore ways to make sure the American public is better informed on this topic. Boy, I tell you, I think you're going to have to be a little bit more specific than that. It goes on, it says, this will be a joint hearing led by Representatives Nancy Mace, Republican, South Carolina, and Glenn Grothman, Republican, Wisconsin, who argue that the American people are tired of the obfuscation and refusal to release information by the federal government, according to the House's statement. Well, I can definitely go along with that. Americans deserve to understand what the government has learned about UAP sightings and the nature of any potential threats these phenomena pose. We can only ensure that understanding by providing consistent, systematic transparency. We look forward to hearing from expert witnesses on ways to shed more light and bring greater accountability to this issue, Mace and Grothman said in a statement. Expert witnesses in the hearing will include Louis Elizondo. Wow, that's disappointing. A decorated former counterintelligence officer who has claimed for years that the U.S. government is hiding knowledge of UAP, including materials recovered from crashed flying saucers. The problem with Louis is the baggage he brings along with him. You know, he had that meetup here a couple weeks ago where he's showing a picture of a UFO that has later been debunked, and debunked a long time ago. Apparently, Louis was the only one that didn't know it. I'm not sure how reliable of a witness he's going to be. It goes on, it says the cover-up and disinformation campaign has been so successful that most scientists do not even know UAP are real, Elizondo wrote in his 2024 book, Imminent. The book also claims that 4 deceased non-human bodies were recovered from the infamous 1947 crash in Roswell, New Mexico, and that China and Russia do not have the same stigma and can employ their scientists to work on this topic for them. Well, I think China and Russia are doing this whole thing undercover the same way that we are. Elizondo has also claimed firsthand knowledge in U.S. programs that employ individuals with psychic powers to remote view distant locations. Most recently, the former counterintelligence officer held a paid event where a photo was shown that Elizondo claimed was a real photo of a mothership UFO above a U.S. embassy. Within days, the photo was found to be the reflection of a lamp in a window. Well, I think that was a chandelier UFO photo, and I'm not even sure it took days. I think it took hours. The House hearing will also include Lieutenant Gallagher, retired U.S. Navy Admiral, says who unidentified submersible objects. I think we're getting into also told interviewers that his daughter is a medium who can communicate with spirits. Oh man, well, this is a problem we run into when we have these hearings and we have people like Louis. He's made a lot of claims, and like this image he showed at this little meetup that turned out to be totally false. He presented it as real, and now we have this Tim Gallaudet saying that his daughter's a medium who can communicate with spirits. It's almost like these guys are a limited hangout. I gotta wonder, man. This is some seriously sketchy stuff, in my opinion. It goes on down here. It says other speakers at the hearing include journalist Michael Shellenberger, who also claimed that the U.S. government is hiding UFO crash camera programs, and former NASA Associate Administrator of Space Policy and Partnership Michael Gold, who is a member of NASA's independent UAP study team. According to NASA's Administrator Bill Nelson's remarks in September 2024 when the team's report was released, the top takeaway from the study is that there is a lot more to learn. The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin, but we don't know what these UAP are, Nelson said. Well, they never do. They've been trying to figure it out for years. So that's kind of the...
Driving to Layton, Utah.
It seems like you have these members of Congress who are trying to
From Brigham City. Looking on the peach tree.
This is a guy who's system, and anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people. Well, I would agree with that. Ramaswamy separately responded on X with a slogan he often used during his presidential campaign to call for the elimination of federal agencies and shut it down. On the campaign trail, Trump pointed to his proposed Government Efficiency Commission as a way to reduce government spending. As the first order of business, this commission will develop an action plan to totally eliminate fraud and improper payments within 6 months, he said in September. This will save trillions of dollars. Ramaswamy, who previously challenged Trump in the Republican presidential primary before endorsing him in January, made reducing waste and government spending a key policy platform for his campaign. Last year, the Department of Education and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which would lay off thousands of federal workers in the process, released a white paper outlining a legal framework he said would allow the president to eliminate federal agencies of his choice. Well, this could go to the heart of the deep state, and that's what we have to do if we're ever going to get disclosure, in my opinion. Musk, his part, said that while supporting Trump on the campaign trail, that he pitched a massive rollback of government regulations, of which he has long bragged. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO has also floated an assessment system that threatens layoffs to wasteful employees and proposed offering generous severance packages to lay off government workers. Musk first suggested Trump form a government efficiency commission. Later, Musk posted on X, in which of himself at a podium labeled Department of Government Efficiency and DOGE, the name of Musk's favorite meme in cryptocurrency, that's Dogecoin. I am willing to serve, he wrote. On Tuesday, he pledged on X that such an office would post all of its actions online for transparency and teased a leaderboard for most insanely dumb spending of your tax dollars. The work of the department, Trump said in his statement, will end no later than July 4th, 2026. A smaller government with more efficiency and less bureaucracy will be a perfect gift to America on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. I'm confident they will succeed, he said. It's amazing. Wow. Doubts about cutting $2 trillion goes on and says Musk, who slashed staff after buying Twitter, now X in 2022, has embraced the idea of being the Secretary of Cost Cutting, as Trump called him in a Fox News interview last month. Asked by Trump Vance transition team co-chair Howard Lutnick at a rally last month how much he could cut out of the nation's $6.5 trillion budget, Musk responded, "Well, I think I could do at least $2 trillion. Well, we could find the $2 trillion that the DOD has lost. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that," Musk said at the Madison Square Garden rally in New York. "We're going to get the government off your back." And at the Economic Club of New York Tuesday, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers said that Musk would be lucky to find $200 billion in federal budget cuts, since the scope for cutting waste is limited. Boy, the deep state rats, they come out, don't they? Glenn Hubbard, an economist and former dean of Columbia University Business School, said it would be very challenging to slash that much spending if interest expenses, entitlement programs, and defense are off limits. Well, we need to take some of this stuff on and put it and take it off the off limits list. I think it's just mathematically impossible to find $2 trillion. Apparently, it is mathematically impossible to find $2 trillion because the DOD is missing $2.3 trillion, and they are unable to find it apparently. But they are not unable to keep you from getting UFO disclosure. Trump and congressional Republicans have long pointed to combating waste, fraud, and abuse. The problem is you got too many Republicans who are tied up with the DOD and all the contractors, and it's going to be tough to get this stuff done unless they can just go in and completely eliminate these projects. But there is hope. It does seem as though at some level the deep state is being attacked on both sides, even if these attacks are currently not very well developed. You have Congress trying to do something, even though it seems to be possibly insiders are trying to turn this hearing into a bit of a limited hangout. They're trying to do something. They're asking for the truth. At the same time, it looks like the new Trump administration is saying, "Hey, we're gonna cut spending." I think the only way you can do is just take an axe to this thing. And once you get rid of all these stupid little programs that aren't there to resolve UFO sightings or to resolve anything, they're just there to cover this stuff up to keep us from knowing the truth. That's what's at the heart of the matter here. always follow the money and money and power. And so this whole time, what we're seeing is that there are actors deep within the bowels of our own government that know about these UFOs. They know what's going on, and they're profiting off it. Whether it's creating vanity projects that just benefit themselves, or whether it's using this technology to create new products, or whether it's just hiding this technology from us, like we're talking about with CIA and Intel. It all represents money and power. And the only way to fight that is with money and power. Right now, we have a couple members in Congress that are trying to do the right thing, but they're up against this behemoth of an organization. And unfortunately, when it comes time to talk about this stuff, the only people they seem to find are people who are talking about it. That's not the way we need to approach this. We need to approach this in a much more, I think, scientifically minded way. And possibly Congress and Trump or whoever else will never get behind. Possibly the only answer we'll ever get about this stuff is through our own work as we crowdsource the truth. And as I say, go outside, look up. Until next time, this is UFO. Over and out.
This episode is brought to you by Whoop, the most powerful web diversity connected. The only platform that turns your health and fitness data into personalized guidance. Now with 14 plus days of battery life. Discover our Whoop membership dealers and more goals. Power your performance at our lowest price with improve your health for the future with Whoop Peak. And tap into medical grade health insights with Whoop Life. Ready to move fast? Head to whoop.com, WHOOP.com to get started. Are you looking to take a career? Let us show you the way. The North Dakota State University College now offers a fully online MBA option. We're accepting applications designed for professionals with at least 5 years of career experience. Offers flexibility, maintaining the same high-quality instruction and professional laboratories that our students have come to expect. Apply today. Visit ndsu.edu/online MBA to learn more.
Training system, flight operations, spy vehicles out there just looking around and seeing what we're doing. So let's go ahead and take a look at these sources like I'm talking about. Now, this first sighting of these UFOs over Pearson Air Base comes to us from NewYorkPost.com. Title says, a flock of UFOs on camera near U.S. Air Base in Indiana, spooking neighbors. Authors Natalie O'Neill, published October 25th, 2024. A flock of mysterious moving UFOs were spotted this morning at high speed from Air Force Base in Indiana, spooking dozens of onlookers, according to wild video footage. At least 6 yellowish-orange orbs were captured on camera, flickering and hovering near Pocono, just south of Pearson Joint Air Reserve Base, before vanishing into thin air on October 7th, according to footage and reports. What is that? One neighbor didn't remember saying. I think those are UFOs and I really don't feel comfortable going to sleep tonight. Another stunned witness declares, what in the actual expletive? The zigzagging aircraft appeared as a huge rectangle with a clearly defined vapor shock wave on a Doppler weather radar, according to one witness. I've seen many easily explained radar anomalies over the years, but never a huge rectangle with a clearly defined miles in length, the witness said. But some observers said the bizarre orbs were likely flares dropped from military aircraft. You always got to get the random, unknown debunkers in there. These look very clearly to be flares. Alejandro Roje, an advisor at the Enigma Labs, which investigate UFO sightings, told the outlet, "I don't know, Alejandro, but I'm looking at these things and they don't act like flares to me, the way that they are zigzagging along. The telltale signs are the lights being in a row and lighting up and disappearing in succession," he said. The strange sightings come after a wave of UFO reports near sites including the Joint Base Langley, Eustis, in Virginia, where officials reported seeing flashing red and green white lights in December. The U.S. Air Force had been given no explanation for the hovering lights as of Friday and didn't immediately return the Post request for comment. Well, don't you think that if those had been flares, that's the first thing the Air Force would come back and said was, no, those were flares. They do that anyway, even when the Air Force half the time. Let's take a look and see just exactly who Enigma Labs is. So just as a little aside here, as we're talking about these UFOs that were videoed over Grissom Air Base, this article in the New York Post quoted this individual from Enigma Labs. Now, this guy sounds sketchy as all get out to me. That's my opinion. So I went to ChatGPT to see who these expert witnesses were that New York Post so conveniently quoted to debunk this sighting over a U.S. airbase, by the way. I asked him about what it was and who started it. So I said, who started Enigma Labs and what did they do? That's what I asked ChatGPT. Sometimes it's easier to do that than it is to try to do a Google search. So ChatGPT comes back and tells me Enigma Labs, founded in 2020, was established by a team of technologists and researchers focused on analyzing unidentified aerial phenomena. Well, that's just something that they've got off their website, okay? The founders and team members have intentionally maintained a low profile for privacy reasons, so specific founder names are not widely disclosed. Based in New York, the company provides a platform for collecting, analyzing, and sharing UAP sightings and data to aid in research on these phenomena. Well, if these guys don't want to disclose who they are while they're trying to create this app to report UFOs, in essence, make themselves gatekeepers, but they want to do it anonymously, well, that's fine, but why should I look to them as the expert on the subject then? If they're going to tell me this is for sure debunked, and I should think this and I should think that, they're going to sit up there and act as the authority figure, then I think we deserve a little more transparency. Enigma Labs developed an invite-only, get that? Invite-only, not like Newport where you can just go there and put up your sightings. An invite-only mobile app where users can report sightings and access historical UAP data. They use advanced technology like machine learning, computer vision, and natural language processing to standardize and analyze UAP reports from around the world. The goal is to create a centralized, credible resource for UAP data that is accessible to both researchers and the general public, helping identify patterns and contextualize sightings with real-time and historical information. Blah, 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 blah. I highly recommend go to Newport. People can put their stuff up there, and you can choose to believe it or not believe it. It's pure crowdsourcing. This stuff here is called gatekeeping. Round up the reports, put a rope around them, and so then we'll decide whether they're real or not. We don't need that. That's the opposite of what we need. We're trying to figure out what this stuff is. The platform remains neutral on the origins of UAPs, focusing on open-minded scientific investigation and enabling crowdsourced reports that undergo verification against known phenomena such as planes or satellites before being classified as unidentified